Well, I can remember that we used to go in the air raid shelter every night. The warning sirens would go first, and then we knew to get to the air raid shelter that the bombs were on the way, and we'd have them dropping around us. There'd be people screaming and shouting, and someone would shout, you'd get cross and swear, saying, bloody hell, will you leave it? And it was terrible. I'd hate to go through it again. I'd rather pick out. That didn't last a great long time, so eventually they stopped the bombing because they weren't getting anywhere with the bombing anyway. Yes and no. We had a good faith. We used to go to church a lot them days, and we would pray a lot. And although we were scared inwardly, we had a lot of faith in God. And so that did happen. He looked after us.
And right then you were the nicest fellow in the world.
Well, I can't exactly say because there was different ones. There was ones that were dug in the road, underneath the road, Galloway Street. And I used to hate them. And then there was the one where the big square used to was, where the swings and things, that was dug out and made into an underground air raid shelter. And we wouldn't go too far from our home anyway when knowing that the air raids came. We kept locally if we could. You could hear them but not so much as see them, because I had better hearing in those days. And yeah, we could hear them, and we knew they were there, they were coming. So, and then we'd hear the explosion of someone who'd got the bomb. It was terrible, honestly. I couldn't bear to face it again. I really couldn't. It was good though, I must admit that they stood up to it very well, and the ladies, mostly they were housewives because the men had gone into the army and they were missing out on the bombs. We were getting the worst of it, us women. But eventually it all stopped. They were all carried on, but the bombing stopped. I don't think anyone I know really got any hurt. No, they've been taken care of. And God had been looking after us. I know for sure he had. Quite a distance really. Some of them, they get the tail end of a bomb and get all the bits and pieces will be blown out. But otherwise it could have been worse. We didn't get the worst effect. Look at this. What she want? Oh, I can't remember. A lot of it was hymns. Yeah, there were lots of it was hymns, but I can't say that I can remember that. But we used to sing those, sing with gusto. Oh, worked on the land. Mostly farming, and not the heavy farming, the other garden farms, you know those farms. I worked on them.
Okay.
Because I was too small, but they said I was too small for tractors and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Because I've grown a bit since them days. You could tell me, most of us didn't get hurt at all, in spite of the bombing. We were very fortunate. So that was a good thing, that was, that we were looked after by God. During the war, because he was in the army and he was stationed, South Force he was stationed, but they came down to Liverpool because there was a lot of cinemas and things open there. They had 56 years of marriage. That was a record, wasn't it? Well, we had little bits of quarrels, little bits of poking things, but never anything serious. We were glad it was over, we were all happy and everything, but none of us went to the extreme. We were just glad it was over. But I left the Land Army after the war was over. Instead of didn't wait to be demobbed, I left because it started coursing John, you see. And that was when we had a nice wedding, but it wasn't exactly immense big or anything like that. But it was a nice little wedding we had. And then of course there was the bombs and that sort of thing. they swept them out the way eventually. Is that your phone ringing? I thought if there was another war, I think I'd like to die first. Somehow I don't think there would be, all that severe bombing. I don't think they'd have the nerve to chuck it down on people again.